Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I'm here to begin my 4th April weekly vlog. Today is April 25th, so unfortunately, opened some book mail yesterday and it didn't get recorded, so I'm just gonna tell you about it now and I'll show you the cute packaging and everything. But first of all, I'll just update you a little bit about what I've been reading. I've been reading Morningstar quite a bit for Dewey's 24-hour readathon, which I read 13 chapters of that and a few hours of Jefferson's Sons by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I'm really loving both of those still. I think overall people are really loving this, and it's all for different reasons, which is what makes it so interesting. My next priority is going to be finishing Perelandra because I have the next live show with Victoria coming up and her co-hosts, so I will link that up here so that you can see that. I also want to finish City of Bells by Elizabeth Goudge. This is the buddy read going on right now in Emma the Bookish Princess's Discord. This weekend I've actually been spending a lot of time on family stuff, which is the first time in a long time I've been able to do that. Also, I've been finishing up an article for An Unexpected Journal, which is a wonderful journal that kind of looks at culture through a Christian apologetic lens, and it's really unique. They've been publishing my stuff here and there. I got my first article and my first short story published by them. Those will be linked below if you want to see them. And my next article that is coming out, I'm not sure exactly when it will come out, but sometime in the summer, I think. And that one will be about how my parents escaped from a cult in New York. Very excited to share that with you. Today we went to church for the first time. Actually, we went once in the last year because it was outside, but we just didn't feel comfortable because not everybody was wearing their masks, and I am immunocompromised, so that was kind of like a deal breaker for us. But we ended up staying home until now because now I am vaccinated. And as far as Jefferson's Sons, I'm really loving this book, you guys. It's really exploring Jefferson's illegitimate sons, that were birthed by the slave woman Sally that he began sleeping with when she was 16 or something. We're not really sure how old she was exactly, but we think she was about 16. It's been really heartbreaking, and also I feel like the book is balanced. It talks a lot about what made America great back then and makes it great even still today, that there are opportunities for people no matter their class, that somebody who maybe is of lower class can climb higher. But as far as race, it mattered so much here that in France, where class was a huge deal, but race didn't matter there. In this book, it's somebody who's a great cook who's black can never leave. They can't be paid. In America, it's just their situation was contrasted with what her situation would have been in France. It's hard to see it all from this young boy that's a son of Jefferson's. There's actually two of them, and how they want so badly to have the attention of their father. They're light enough that they might be able to get by as being white if he doesn't tell anyone that they're his kids. So I wish though that he had worked harder to get closer with them. And this is all in a fictional book, obviously. I don't know exactly how all of this went in history, but it sounds like they didn't really have a relationship, but he gave them some privileges over other slaves. It's a pretty heavy indictment on Thomas Jefferson, whom I already didn't like very much. But Sally's opinion of Jefferson kind of softens the whole view, and her view of America kind of softens the view of America. So I think it's done really well. It's really complex. It really draws you into the story. I'm really enjoying that, and I'm looking forward to finishing that. I'm listening on audiobook, and the audiobook is fantastic, which, by the way, the audiobook of Morningstar is also fantastic. Also, I got Turn: Washington Spies from the library. This is recommended to me by Kate from the Literary Apothecary because we are doing so many revolutionary reads right now with Ramsey from Rajathan. We're doing all the presidential biographies. I have been reading the Jefferson bio, but not this week. I'm kind of waiting until closer to the end of May because that's when he's thinking he'll finish it. So I'm guessing the live show won't be until a little into June, or maybe at the very end of May. So I also picked up The Portable Dante by Mark Musa because this is the translation that Jennifer Brooks is really enjoying. And Jennifer Brooks is doing a Dante read along with Tom from Ellie Books. So I'll link Jennifer's announcements video down below so that you can check out more information if you want to. Purgatory will be read in May. And then in June, they will be reading Paradise. Hopefully I can join them. I would really like to. I do have a busy month next month, so we'll see. Now for the fun part, which is the book mail. I got mail from Evie, from She Was Only Evie, who is just so wonderful and generous. And the other day she messaged me and she was like, I hope that you don't have a copy of Dr. Zhivago. And I didn't. So now I do. This is just gorgeous. It is the Richard Pevear and Larissa Volokhonsky translation, which is awesome. I don't even know if she knew that I love them as translators. We have decided that we're going to do a read-along of this in April of 2022. And we may have 2 live shows. Like, this is a pretty long book. So I think there's probably room for 2 live shows. We'll see. We'll put together more details as we go, but if you're interested in being a part of that, do let me know down below. We have lots of time to plan that, so I'm not worried about it now, but here, let me just tell you a little bit what it's about. It was first published in Italy in 1957 amidst international controversy, and it's the story of a poet-physician during the turmoil of the Russian Revolution. He's trying to bring his family to the Ural Mountains and keep them safe, and instead finds himself embroiled between the White Army and the Bolshevik Reds of the Russian Civil War. I just thought it was so funny that Evie just sent it to me and was like, hey, are you interested in reading this? Like, yeah. I think just Evie is so well read. I can't wait to read this with her. It's gonna be a really good time. I hope that you will be interested in joining us. And the other thing that I got in the mail was from Kate Hill, because I won her Patreon giveaway. I wish that I could have showed you this before I unwrapped it, but look at this really cute wrapping paper. It's like sprinkles. I just love it so much. This is her Patreon giveaway. If you are interested in having Zoom conversations about books that you're reading in a group, I would say hers is the Patreon for you. She reads a Victorian classic every 2 months, and there's a Zoom conversation. And then every 2 months, there's also a social call. Part of the Patreon thing is that you get to throw in a book for the poll, and there's usually 4 books on a poll. My pick won the poll last month, and I was just so pleased and excited. So my pick was The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy, and I've been wanting to read that for so long. So that's going to be our June and July pick, and I cannot wait. And she also sent me this super cute knitted washcloth. It's so cute. It's like unicorn colored, you know, like all the unicorn flavor things, and it goes so well with the sprinkles. I love it. Thank you, Kate. So she also sent me some descriptions of books, and it was a secret. Oh, you know, I'll send you the description. You pick which one you want. And the book that I got was I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. And I'm so excited about this because I read 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith, and it was one of my favorite books that I read last year, and it was so cute, and I loved it. I read it for Brie to You, and I've been wanting to read this. I know that this is one of Angie from Literary Labor's favorite books, so it's essentially like the diary of a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, Cassandra. It's her first descent into love. It's called one of literature's most enchanting entertainments, and I can believe it because I just thought 101 Dalmatians was completely enchanting. Thank you so much, Kate. It's April 26th, and I got some book mail, and I'm very excited to open it. I actually got it yesterday, but I didn't have a chance to open it because I was gone all day, so I'm excited about this. Okay, let's see what it is. I have a feeling I know what it is. I'm gonna guess it's Tom Elliott's graphic novel that he adapted from a nonfiction novel, and I think Evie sent it to me, but we'll see. Yes! Science and Faith. This is the graphic novel. Tommaso is Tom Elliott's. Funny story about that. When I first heard about this book, Tom was on a live stream on Noah's channel on Friday Night Live. Noah kept like messing up his name like on purpose as if he doesn't know who this guy is, and then suddenly he brought him on and introduced him. He said his name so many funny different ways that by the end, I was calling him Tomasco, like Tabasco. I wasn't trying to make fun of his name. I just like completely just messed it up. This is a self-published graphic novel, like I said, adaptation of a nonfiction book. And yes, it is from Evie. Thank you so much, Evie. I really appreciate it. You're just so generous. I can't wait to dive into this. Here's my goal. I read half of Perelandra last night, almost half. If I can finish this today, I can read this. We'll see. Thank you so much, Evie. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Tom, for working hard on this. up, I did finish Slaughterhouse-five by Kurt Vonnegut, and Leslie and Una and Crypto and I had the live show on my channel. I will link that up here for you if you want to check it out. That was a very fruitful discussion for me. I feel like I understand it better. Let me just tell you a little bit what this is about. This is about Billy Pilgrim and also Kurt Vonnegut. He writes himself into it. It's very meta. Who experienced firsthand the bombing of Dresden in World War II, which is one of the most controversial actions taken by the Allied powers in World War II. And this book, it wants to give you a firsthand experience of what Kurt Vonnegut experienced. And keeping in mind that this is not what every veteran experienced, he gives an almost journalistic and fictional kind of combined take on it. It's very strange. It's not a novel. It's a combination between autobiography and fiction, because he technically has a fictional character, Billy Pilgrim, but he also puts himself in here, and also a lot of the experiences that he portrays happening are things that he saw happen. So I feel like people almost read it like it's a firsthand account of Dresden. He wrote this and it was published during Vietnam. So it was a reaction to the experience of the Vietnam War and the experience of the veterans who were coming back from Vietnam. A lot of this I'm getting from Crypto and Una and Leslie. He was writing to kind of say to the veterans of Vietnam, I know that you are not being greeted as friendly as I was when I came home from war. You're not being treated as a hero the same way when I came home from World War II. However, the way you're feeling is also how I felt. You're not alone. War is terrible. These are some terrible things that happened to me during World War II that maybe you can relate to. So I feel like very much it's a veteran's experience for anybody who wants to read, but it's written with like special love to veterans, I feel like. It is an anti-war novel. I don't know. It's hard to talk about what he is trying to say because it's not like he's trying to be objective and give you all the facts. It's not a history book. He's just telling you how terrible his experience was. I don't know how useful it is other than for pathos. He's trying to get you to feel emotionally along with him. I guess that war is terrible and that Dresden was terrible. He's not necessarily saying that they weren't necessary. I don't know. It shows how horrible it was for him, how messy and confusing and subjective. I know that the messy, style is kind of reflecting his experience of war, so it's a purposeful choice. It's just that if you're trying to make a point and be analytical, and all of his characters, the male characters anyway, are parts of the theme. They are outgrowths of his theme. They all kind of take war differently. They all have different thoughts on war and on Dresden specifically. They all act differently. They all end up in different places, and they all die in different ways, so it goes. Despite all of that complexity, it's also not organized if you're just trying to understand what he's trying to say. It's basically, he's getting rid of the intellectualization of war and trying to make you feel emotional about it. I felt like I was being his therapist and he was just telling me that war is awful, which is like, yeah, I know, dude. I know war is awful. Nobody likes war. I have very mixed feelings about it. I also read a bunch of Perelandra. I didn't quite finish it by the end of April. I finished it in May, so we'll talk about that next week. And we had the Perelandra live stream, and it was a very good conversation, and I will talk more about Perelandra in my next vlog. And also, I did start Science and Faith. And I also wanted to tell you guys the estimated revenue for this week. We are at $22.96 as of yesterday, May 1st, which is fantastic, you guys. We have less than $80 to go before we get our first check and we can send it to families together. And that is all thanks to you guys. Thank you for watching the ads. Thank you for liking. Thank you for watching these videos, for subscribing. You're all wonderful and we're doing this together. I can't thank you enough. And I think that's all we have to say. I'll see you next week. Let me know down below if you disagree with me about Slaughterhouse-five. I would love to know why. Please be nice though. Thank you. Bye.